Namaste and welcome to the studying of the Lotus Sutra, also known as the Sadharma Pundarika Sutra. And as a part of our Soul series, that's Sunya Open University Learning, we are in session number 3 for studying of the Lotus Sutra. And before we do that, let's quickly practice our 920. Okay, so again, we're doing the Sadharma Pundarika Sutra and we are on chapter 2. And from what we left last yesterday, we're going to continue that from verse number 11, I think so. Pratyeka Buddhas of sharp prajna in their final ashrava, free kaya, also filling the worlds of 10 directions. Their numbers like Venuvana. If these together with one chitta over a 100 billion immeasurable kalpas wish to contemplate the true prajna of the Buddha, they could not know even a small portion. Bodhisattvas of newly arisen chitta who have made offerings to countless Buddhas, who thoroughly comprehend all meanings and intents and who skillfully expound the Dharma, like rice plants, hemp, bamboo, and reeds, filling all the lokas of the 10 directions. If with one chitta, using wondrous prajna, throughout kalpas, numerous as the Ganga Valuka, sands of the Gangas, all of them together were to contemplate and measure, they could not know the prajna of the Buddha. Irreversible bodhisattvas, their number like the Ganga Valuka, with one chitta, together contemplating and seeking, they too could not know it. It's very clear here that whatever levels of bodhisattvas you would be. So here again, the sutra is making very clear that even bodhisattvas are in their phases of growth. They are not all one category. So there are different who are newly, just attained bodhisattvahood. Then there are people who are experienced, but all of them are yet not in that position, even together, even with one mind, to contemplate or understand the Buddha himself. Okay. Furthermore, addressed to Shariputra, the Ashrava free, inconceivable, profoundly deep and wondrous Dharma, I have now fully attained it. Only I know this mark. The Buddhas of the 10 directions are also thus. Shariputra, you should know the words of all the Buddhas are without difference. If the Dharma expounded by the Buddha, you should give rise to great power of Shraddha, faith. After a long time, the Dharma of the Bhagwan will surely be proclaimed as the truth, addressing the assembly of Shravakas and those who seek the Pratyeka Buddha Yana. I cause those who have disassociated from the bondage of dukkha to attain nirvana. The Buddha, through the power of upaya, demonstrates the teaching of the Triyana, drawing out those who are clinging in all directions, leading them to liberation. Here again, the stress is on Shraddha. Whatsoever it is, the only thing that you can do is one, you can never understand the way and the means and why the Buddha does it, because you're still not a Buddha. But on the other side, why you should be still following the Buddha is because he is the one who is assuring and telling you the guarantee that he is, his words are without any doubt, they are the truth. And he has his skillful means through which he is going to help sentient beings. The intention is what matters. So at the end, what makes a normal sentient beings a Buddha is the intention. And the intention of Buddha from the day one was to liberate sentient beings, and that is what has matured and has made him a Buddha. And even all the 10 directions Buddha, they all are actually telling the same thing. They are saying that their dharma teaching is profound, their methods are only and only with the one intention to liberate sentient beings. And here Buddha is very clearly telling Shariputra that who he is and why one should only and only have faith in what he says. Next. At that time, in the great assembly, there were Ashrava free Arhants, the 1200 headed by Adnyata Kaundinya, as well as bhikshus, bhikshunis, upasakas, and upasikas who had given rise to the chitta of the Shravakayana or Pratyeka Buddhayana. And each of them thought, why does the Bhagwan now earnestly praise upaya, skillful means, and say the dharma attained by the Buddha is profoundly deep and difficult to comprehend? The intent of all his words is difficult to know. It cannot be reached by any Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. The Buddha speaks of one meaning of liberation, and we have also attained this dharma and reached nirvana. Yet now we do not know the direction of this meaning. Now, here the question among the Shravakas and Pratyekas is that until today, Buddha was teaching very clearly that it is easy, these are the Four Noble Truths, this is the path you have to follow. And we were following exactly what he was saying, and we were completely in alignment with what he used to tell, and we used to understand. Now, he's using skillful means as a means to let us know that there are things that we don't understand. And why is it this happening? Why is this meaning of his talk not being comprehended by us? So this doubt is but natural to come among the Shravakas and the Pachekas. At that time, Shariputra, knowing the doubts in the hearts of the fourfold assembly and himself not yet having understood, addressed the Buddha. Bhagwan, for what reason? Can you go back? And cause does the Bhagwan, next slide, earnestly praise the foremost upaya of all the Buddhas, the profoundly deep, wondrous, and difficult to understand Dharma. I have since long ago never heard the Buddha speak in this way. Today, the entire fourfold assembly has doubts. May the Bhagavan please expound this matter. Bhagavan, for what reason does the Bhagavan earnestly praise the profoundly deep, wondrous, and difficult to understand Dharma? So now suddenly you, till now you made it very easy, we were all understanding, and Shariputra now taking and representing everybody's doubt from the fourfold assembly is putting forth a question that why is this happening, why are you suddenly started to say that skillful means, till now you said the path was the only way, the following strictly of the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, leads one to Nirvana. This is a definite path. Okay. And now suddenly you say, no, there is a wondrous Dharma which is difficult to understand, but yet skillfully one can understand. Suddenly, why this? Shariputra is having this question and he's representing the others' question also. At that time, Shariputra, wishing to restate this matter, spoke this gatha. O Maha Arya, the Prajna Surya, having long now spoken this dharma, you yourself declare that you have attained such powers, freedom from fear, samadhi, dhyana, liberation, and so forth, inconceivable dharmas. The dharma attained at the Bodhi Mandala, none is capable of asking about it. My own mind is difficult to fathom, and there is also none capable of questioning. Without being asked, you yourself speak, praising the marga you have practiced. Prajna, supremely wondrous, attained by all Buddhas. All Ashrava free Arhants and those seeking Nirvana have now all fallen into a net of doubt. Why does the Buddha speak of this? Question arises. Buddha is talking about faith, but what is happening on the other side to the listeners, the Shravakas and the Pachekas? There is doubt being created, and this doubt is being questioned through Shariputra to the Buddha himself. Those who seek the Pratyeka Buddha Yana, bhikshus and bhikshunis, all devas, nagas, ghostly spirits, and gandharvas look at one another with hesitation, gazing up to one honored on 2 feet. What is this matter? May the Buddha please expound. Among all the assemblies of Shravakas, the Buddha has declared me the foremost. Yet now, with my own prajna, I am confused and cannot comprehend. Is this the ultimate dharma? Is this the marga to be practiced? Sons born of the Buddha's mouth join their palms and look up in expectation. May you emit the wondrous voice and now speak of it as it truly is. Devas, Nagas, divine spirits, and others like number, like the Ganga Valuka, Bodhisattvas seeking the Buddha, numbering approximately 80,000 from the 10 billion lands, the Chakravarti Samrat, have arrived, joining their palms with reverent chitta, wishing to hear the complete marga. So again, the question here is, we want to, suddenly you are saying that nobody can understand the Buddha. First, Buddha was our teacher, Buddha was the guide, Buddha explained and we understood. Now, even you're saying the bodhisattvas of the highest order also cannot understand what the Buddha is actually trying to do. And we are really confused now. Not only me, not only the Shravakas, the Pachekas, all the other beings who have been present here, the numerous beings of all the worlds are all in this particular question in their mind, that what is the real marg, what is the path. At that time the Buddha told Shariputra, enough, enough. There is no need to say it again. Means because Shariputra is repeating this question again and again. Buddha is telling him, don't repeat it. If this matter is spoken of, all the devas and humans throughout all the worlds would be astonished and filled with doubt. Means I'm just telling you that you will not understand. And if I speak of it, they will remain in doubt for long. Who? All the devas and the humans also. So Shariputra again addressed the third time Buddha, Bhagwan, may you please speak of it. May you please speak of it. Why is this in this assembly? There are asamkhya, hundreds of thousands of billions of sentient beings who have already encountered various Buddhas. Their faculties are sharp and keen, their prajna is clear, and upon hearing what the Buddha has said, they will be capable of reverently accepting it with faith. So now Shariputra is adamant to ask the Buddha, please, please, when you say it is difficult to understand the path that you're talking about, the skillful means you're talking about, you're telling about, not even the greatest of the Bodhisattvas can understand. Let go of the Shravakas and the Pachekas. That means, you are never going to tell this to us, but I request you to please, please, there would be some among us who could understand this, because we have served so many Buddhas in the past. At that time, Shariputra, wishing to restate this matter, spoke this gatha again. So again, you can see how adamant Shariputra is also. Dharmaraja, supreme and honored, may you please speak of it and have no concern. In this assembly of immeasurable beings, there are those who will be capable of reverently accepting it with faith. The Buddha again stopped Shariputra. If this matter is spoken of, all the devas, human and asuras throughout the worlds would be astonished and filled with doubt, and arrogant bhikshus would fall into a great pit. Buddha is also warning, don't ask me to speak about it, because already people are having doubts in a, on me when I say that there is this wonderful path which I have not yet explained, which needs to be explained skillfully and all those things. But even then, if I explain this, not only humans, devas and asuras, even those arrogant bhikshus will fall into a pit. So Buddha is warning and telling, please don't force me. At that time, the Bhagwan again spoke this gatha. Enough, enough. There is no need to speak. My dharma is wondrous and difficult to conceive. Those who are arrogant upon hearing it will certainly not accept it with reverence and shraddha. So he's saying, no, no, no. What I'm talking about is the ultimate Buddha Dharma. It's very difficult to comprehend. And upon hearing it, doubt will definitely arise and people will let go of the faith that they hold on to. At that time, Shariputra again addressed the Buddha. Bhagwan, may you please speak of it. May you please speak of it. In this present assembly, there are hundreds of thousands of billions like me who, through life after life, have already received transformation from the Buddha. Persons such as these will surely be capable of reverently accepting it with Shraddha, that is faith. And throughout the long night, there will be peace and great benefit. At that time, Shariputra, wishing to restate this matter, spoke this Gatha again. Shariputra is very adamant. He is also as stubborn to get that teaching from the Buddha, because he knows when Buddha says something is important, it is important. Unsurpassed, one honored on 2 feet, may you please speak of the foremost Dharma. I am the eldest of the sons of Buddha. May you please speak and explain it. In this assembly of immeasurable beings, there are those capable of reverently accepting this Dharma with faith. The Buddha has already, through life after life, transformed such persons as these. All with one mind, join their palms, wishing to hear and receive the words of the Buddha. We, the 1200, and all others seeking the Buddha, for the sake of this assembly, may you please speak and explain it. When these hear this dharma, they will give rise to great joy. Till today, Shariputra is saying, we have received everything of yours with joy. We never understood it first, but when you have explained it, we have understood. So please, for us, explain what you were telling is so wondrous, and what is the real dharma, and how skillful means is something that one has to understand of the Buddha. At that time, the Bhagwan told Shariputra, you have now earnestly requested 3 times. How can I not speak? Listen carefully now and reflect on it well. I shall analyze and explain it for you. When these words were spoken in the assembly, 5,000 bhikshus, bhikshunis, upasikas immediately rose from their seats, performed Vandana to the Buddha and withdrew. See what an event this is happening. When finally the Buddha is about to explain and Shariputra on his 3 requests of the same thing, that please explain this dharma and the skillful means, 5,000 of the people from the assembly just rose up, withdrew, and left after paying Vandana. They thought that is there is nothing happening. Okay, why was this? Because these persons had deeply rooted a kushala karma and were arrogant, claiming to have attained what they had not attained, and claiming to have realized what they had not realized. Having such faults, they therefore did not remain. The Bhagwan remained silent and did not stop them. So there were arrogant. When here the definition of arrogance is, what I believe have been attained is the final attainment. There is nothing beyond that. Now suddenly somebody is trying to upsell something to me. I don't buy that. I think the sale is over. I have already attained it. And in that arrogance, when somebody is trying to tell you something more is remaining, you suddenly want to leave and you feel, this is enough. I have had enough. So that is because of akushala karma. And continuing, at that time, the Buddha told Shariputra, in this assembly of mine, there are no longer any branches and leaves. There are only those who are genuine and true, Shariputra. The departure of such arrogant persons is also well. You now listen carefully. I shall speak of it for you. Because Shariputra was requesting so earnestly, the Buddha finally agreed to speak, even though 5,000 people left that assembly because they could not comprehend, they could not understand what the Buddha was about to expound. Shariputra said, yes, indeed, Bhagwan, we delight in wishing to hear. The Buddha told Shariputra, such a wondrous dharma, the Buddha Tathagata speak of it only at the right time, just as the Udambara flower only appears on occasion. Shariputra, you and others should have faith in what the Buddha says. His words are not empty or false, Shariputra. The Buddhas expound the Dharma in accordance with what is appropriate, and the intent of their words is difficult to comprehend. Why? Because I use countless upaya, various causes and conditions, parables, and words of speech to expound all dharmas. This dharma cannot be understood through thinking and discrimination. Only the Buddhas are capable of knowing it. So by thinking and by discriminating dharmas, you cannot understand these wondrous dharma. You have to take the help of a teacher like the Buddha who is capable of knowing it. And Buddha is talking about countless upayas and means based on various causes and conditions. Through various parables and words of speech, he expounds all dharmas. And that is what is being told here to Shariputra. Why? Because the Buddha, the Bhagwans appear in the loka for one great cause and purpose alone, Shariputra. What is meant by saying that the Buddha Bhagwans appear in the loka for one great cause and purpose alone? The Buddha, the Bhagwans appear in the loka because they wish sentient beings to open the knowledge and vision of the Buddha so that they attain purity. They appear because they wish to demonstrate the knowledge and vision of the Buddha to the sentient beings. They appear because they wish sentient beings to awaken to the knowledge and vision of the Buddha. They appear because they wish sentient beings to enter the marga of the knowledge and vision of the Buddha. Shariputra, this is why all Buddhas appear in the loka, for this one great cause and purpose. To here, it's very clear that the Buddha is telling why does a Buddha appear and why does a Buddha teach through expedient means, because he wants to let every being out there, every sentient beings know that they are also in the process of becoming the Buddha. They become the example. They show that this is what is the path, this is the method, this is what you can become if you think this is what you would like to become. The Buddha told Shariputra, the Buddha, the Tathagatas teach only bodhisattvas. All that they do is always for one purpose alone, only to demonstrate and awaken sentient beings to the knowledge and vision of the Buddha. Shariputra, the Tathagata expounds the Dharma to sentient beings only by means of the Eka Buddha Yana. There is no other vehicle, whether a second or a third. Shariputra, all Buddhas throughout the 10 directions, the Dharma is also thus. So here it is very clear that all the Triyana, the Shravakayana, the Pratyeka Buddhayana, or the Bodhisattva Yana are different methods. But in truth, there is only one Yana, the Ekaya Buddhayana. And that is the only vehicle that a Buddha drives. Shariputra, past Buddhas, through immeasurable and countless upayas, various causes and conditions, parables and words, expounded all dharmas for sentient beings. All of these dharmas were for the sake of Eka Buddhayana. The sentient beings who heard the dharma from those Buddhas ultimately all attained Sarvajnana. Shariputra, future Buddhas who will appear in the Loka will also through immeasurable and countless upayas, various causes and conditions, parables and words, expound all dharmas for sentient beings. All of these dharmas will be for the sake of the Eka Buddhayana. The sentient beings who hear the dharma from those Buddhas will ultimately all attain Sarvajnana. Shariputra, in the present, in the immeasurable hundreds of thousands of billions of Buddha lands, throughout the 10 directions, the Buddha Bhagwans bring great benefit and peace to sentient beings. These Buddhas also, through immeasurable and countless upayas, various causes and conditions, parables and words, expound all dharmas for sentient beings. All of these dharmas are for the sake of Ek Buddhayana. The sentient beings who hear the dharma from those Buddhas ultimately all attain Sarvajnana. Shariputra, these Buddhas teach only bodhisattvas because they wish to demonstrate the knowledge and vision of the Buddha to sentient beings, because they wish to awaken sentient beings to the knowledge and vision of the Buddha, because they wish sentient beings to enter the knowledge and vision of the Buddha. Shariputra, I am now also thus, knowing that sentient beings have various desires, things to which their deep mind is attached, and in accordance with their original nature, I use various causes and conditions, parables and words, and through power of skillful means, I expound the Dharma for them. Shariputra, all of this is for the sake of their attaining the Eka Buddhayana and Sarvajnana. So ultimately the purpose here is very clear. Why does a Buddha do this in all the different worlds that ever exist? In every world there is a Buddha either trying to bring people together, bring peace and order into a chaotic world, make sure that there is only one mind in that world, and that mind is of peace and prosperity. And here, if he is talking about, Buddha is saying that the ultimate purpose of the Buddha is to bring everybody under one vehicle. On even if the path that is there, that is one, but even the vehicle on that should be one. You cannot use differentiating methods to lead yourself into discriminating or differentiating people and things and trying to attain that one simple goal, the truth, ultimate truth. So Shariputra, throughout the worlds of the 10 directions, there is not even a second vehicle, how much less a third. Shariputra, the Buddhas appear in the evil worlds of the five turbidities, namely the turbidity of the Kalpa, the turbidity of the Klesha, the turbidity of sentient beings, the turbidity of views, and turbidity of lifespan. Thus, Shariputra, in the turbid disorder of the Kalpa, when sentient beings are heavily defiled, avaricious, greedy, envious, and jealous, having accomplished all manner of akushala roots, for this reason the Buddhas, through the power of upaya, next means analyze with the Ekabuddhayana and speak of the three. Shariputra, if my disciples declare themselves to be arhants or pratyeka Buddhas and have neither heard nor come to know that the Buddha Tathagatas teach only Bodhisattvas, there these are not Shishyas of the Buddhas, not arhants, not pratyeka Buddhas. Now here we can end the session today here, but here again and again Buddha is saying, I only teach Bodhisattvas. Why is he saying that? But he's addressing the Shravakas, he's addressing the Pacheka Buddhas, but he's telling that I'm teaching only Bodhisattvas because there is only Bodhisattvas. There are no other two vehicles left. And because at the end, everything is going to evolve into a Bodhisattva. So there can be an early Bodhisattva. So the Bodhisattva is finally the person in a different stage. So even a Shravaka is basically a Bodhisattva in a making. A Pacheka is a Bodhisattva in a making, and Bodhisattva himself. So Buddha is saying, I'm talking to the mind of a Bodhisattva that is within everyone. And that Bodhisattva is what is the ultimate, you can say my disciples, who will then go and lead themselves to become Buddha, because Bodhisattva is just before becoming a Buddha. And these Bodhisattvas, they are the people who are fulfilling the vow that they make to help sentient beings liberate themselves. And also the most important thing is these Bodhisattvas are following the six paramitas, which is very, very important, of Dan, Sheel, then Dhairya, Virya, Vipassana, Samatha, all these six are being practiced by them. They are the people who contribute to the world. So there is no Shravaka, there is no Pacheka as a separate vehicle. Everybody is a bodhisattva, and this is again and again told in the Lotus Sutra. And if you see the kind of conviction that Shariputra had to convince Buddha to make sure that he explains the wondrous dharma. And again, thanks to Shariputra's repeated request, we today have a sutra that we can hear directly, read directly, and understand it. And thanks to the team, translation team. Again, I would like to thank Rucha, who did an effort to translate this. Dr. Lim, who has taken the effort to edit and validate its translation. And we are very lucky to at least hear these words of the Lotus Sutra. We continue this study next Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Again, these 3 days we will be doing that. So you can this is available on the ancientsutra.com. You can go and read that, the Lotus Sutra. And so we will see you next week. Till then, thank you so much. If there are no questions, we can end the question. Namaste.